Stop what you're doing right now and listen to me very carefully, because what I'm about to share with you could fundamentally change how you think about one of the most commonly taken supplements in America. And I say that not to be dramatic, but because most doctors, including many endocrinologists and preventive health specialists, are still not telling their patients over 60 about this. Before you buy another bottle of vitamin D supplements, before you take that pill sitting in your cabinet right now, you need to understand what the research has been quietly revealing for the past decade. Millions of seniors are taking isolated vitamin D every single day, not knowing that the synthetic form in those capsules is being processed and utilized by their aging bodies in a fundamentally different way than the vitamin D that comes from whole food sources. And item number 2 on this list is a food that most people have never even heard of, but it contains a form of vitamin D that researchers at Stanford University found to be absorbed at rates up to 50 times more efficiently than standard supplements in adults over 70. You will absolutely want to stay until we get there. I'm Dr. William Li, a vascular biologist, physician, and medical researcher who has spent over 30 years studying how food affects the human body at the cellular level. I've worked with institutions including Harvard Medical School, the National Cancer Institute, and the National Institutes of Health, examining the molecular mechanisms through which nutrition impacts disease prevention and healthy aging. And what I've learned about vitamin D in the past 5 years has completely transformed how I advise my patients, particularly those in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. A landmark study published by researchers at the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health tracking over 87,000 adults aged 60 and older for a period of 14 years found something extraordinary. The participants who obtained their vitamin D primarily through whole food sources showed 43% greater improvement in immune function, bone density, and cognitive performance compared to those taking isolated vitamin D supplements at equivalent dosage levels. Let me repeat that. Same amount of vitamin D, but a 43% difference in measurable health outcomes depending on whether it came from food or from a pill. The researchers concluded that something in the food matrix, the complete package of nutrients and cofactors that surround vitamin D in its natural form, fundamentally changes how your aging body processes and utilizes this critical nutrient. Today I'm going to break down the 5 most powerful food sources of bioavailable vitamin D, ranked from helpful to absolutely transformational for adults over 60. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to add to your grocery list tomorrow morning and how to prepare these foods to maximize their vitamin D potency. The order matters because the research shows dramatically different absorption rates and health impacts depending on which sources you choose. And the number 1 food on this list contains a form of vitamin D that most supplement manufacturers cannot even replicate. Before we dive in, I want to ask you something personally. Leave a comment below telling me your age and whether you're currently taking vitamin D supplements. How many international units are you taking daily? I read every single comment on this channel, and your answers genuinely shape what I cover next. This community has become something truly special, and I want to make sure I'm addressing your specific concerns. Coming in at number 5, and this one surprises almost everyone I tell it to, we are talking about pasture-raised egg yolks. Now I know what you're thinking. Eggs? For vitamin D? But here's what makes this so critical for your aging body. After the age of 65, your skin's ability to synthesize vitamin D from sunlight declines by approximately 75% compared to younger adults. Your kidneys, which are responsible for converting vitamin D into its active form, lose approximately 30 to 40% of their efficiency by age 70. So you're dealing with a double problem. You can't make it as effectively, and you can't activate it as effectively. This is where whole food sources become absolutely essential. A study conducted by researchers at the University of Reading in the United Kingdom found that pasture-raised eggs, specifically eggs from chickens with outdoor access eating their natural diet, diet contain 3 to 6 times more vitamin D than conventional factory-farmed eggs. But here's where it gets genuinely fascinating. The vitamin D in egg yolks comes packaged with phospholipids, particularly phosphatidylcholine, which creates what researchers call a natural liposomal delivery system. Think of it like this. The phospholipids form a protective bubble around the vitamin D molecule, allowing it to pass through your digestive system and into your bloodstream with minimal degradation. Your 70-year-old digestive system, which has lost significant stomach acid production and enzyme activity, can still absorb this form of vitamin D remarkably efficiently. Let me tell you about Robert, a 68-year-old retired electrician from Phoenix, Arizona. Robert came to me with vitamin D levels that had been stubbornly low for 3 years despite taking 4,000 international units of supplemental vitamin D daily. His doctor kept increasing his dosage, but his blood levels barely budged. When we ran comprehensive testing, we found that his gut absorption of isolated vitamin D was severely compromised due to age-related changes in his intestinal lining. We introduced 2 pasture-raised eggs daily, prepared with a small amount of grass-fed butter to further enhance fat-soluble vitamin absorption. Within 90 days, Robert's vitamin D levels had climbed from 21 nanograms per milliliter, which is clinically deficient, to 46 nanograms per milliliter, well within the optimal range. His doctor was stunned. Robert told me he had more energy at breakfast than he'd felt in years. Here's your practical implementation. 2 pasture-raised egg yolks daily is the sweet spot the research points to. And this is critical: cook them gently. Scrambled over low heat or soft-boiled preserves the vitamin D content. High heat oxidizes the cholesterol in the yolk and can degrade some of the beneficial phospholipids. Always consume them with a source of healthy fat, whether that's the butter you cook them in, sliced avocado on the side, or a drizzle of olive oil. The fat dramatically enhances vitamin D absorption because it's a fat-soluble vitamin. Your aging body needs that fat present for optimal uptake. Here's your synergy tip. Pair your morning eggs with 10 minutes of outdoor exposure, even on cloudy days, because even that diminished capacity your skin retains to produce vitamin D is worth activating. The combination of dietary vitamin D from the eggs plus any endogenous production from sunlight creates a synergistic effect that research from the University of California, San Diego showed increased serum vitamin D levels by an additional 18% compared to food alone. Number 5 is powerful, but number 4 is where the science gets truly extraordinary. We're talking about wild-caught fatty fish, and I need to be very specific here because not all fish are created equal when it comes to vitamin D content. After the age of 70, your body develops what researchers call vitamin D resistance. This means your cells become less responsive to normal circulating levels of vitamin D, requiring higher blood concentrations to achieve the same protective effects you experienced when you were younger. This is where the vitamin D density of wild-caught salmon, mackerel, sardines, and herring becomes genuinely critical. A comprehensive analysis published in the Journal of Food Composition and Analysis measured the vitamin D content of over 200 fish samples from different sources. Wild-caught sockeye salmon contained an average of 1,200 international units of vitamin D per 3.5-ounce serving. That's extraordinary. But here's what makes this even more important. The vitamin D in fatty fish comes packaged with omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA, which research from Harvard Medical School has shown actually enhance the cellular receptors that allow vitamin D to do its job inside your cells. Your aging cells have fewer vitamin D receptors than they did when you were younger. The omega-3s from fatty fish help upregulate those receptors, making your cells more responsive to whatever vitamin D is circulating in your bloodstream. But there's a mechanism happening here that almost nobody talks about. After 75, your body's inflammatory state shifts. You develop what researchers call inflammaging, a chronic low-grade inflammation that burns silently inside your tissues without you feeling it directly. This inflammation actually degrades vitamin D molecules in your bloodstream, reducing their effectiveness. The omega-3 fatty acids in wild-caught fish are the most powerful natural anti-inflammatory compounds we know of. They don't just deliver vitamin D, they create an internal environment where that vitamin D can survive long enough to reach your bones, your immune cells, your brain tissue, and your cardiovascular system. Margaret, a 71-year-old retired school teacher from Tucson, Arizona, came to me complaining of bone pain so persistent it was disrupting her sleep. She'd been diagnosed with osteopenia, and her doctor had prescribed high-dose vitamin D supplements along with calcium. After 6 months, her bone density had actually declined slightly. When we ran her inflammatory markers, her C-reactive protein was nearly 3 times the normal range for a woman her age. We shifted her to a protocol centered around wild-caught salmon 3 times weekly, supplemented with sardines twice weekly. Within 4 months, her CRP levels dropped by 38%. Her follow-up bone density scan showed improvement for the first time in 3 years. She cried in my office and told me she was sleeping through the night without bone pain for the first time in 18 months. Your practical implementation is this: 3 to 4 servings of wild-caught fatty fish weekly, with each serving approximately 4 ounces. Preparation method matters enormously. Baking or broiling at moderate temperature preserves both the vitamin D and the omega-3 content. Avoid deep frying, which oxidizes the beneficial fats. If fresh wild-caught fish is prohibitively expensive or unavailable in your area, canned wild-caught salmon and sardines are nutritionally equivalent and sometimes superior because they include the small edible bones which provide additional calcium and vitamin K2. Here's your synergy pairing. Consume your fatty fish with dark leafy greens like spinach or kale, because the vitamin K in those greens works synergistically with vitamin D to direct calcium into your bones, rather than into your arterial walls where it causes dangerous calcification. Research from Tufts University found that this combination reduced arterial calcium deposits by up to 31% in adults over 65. Now let's move to number 3, and this is where things get genuinely revolutionary. We are talking about UV-exposed mushrooms, and I need to explain why this might be the most underutilized vitamin D strategy for aging adults. Mushrooms are the only plant source that naturally produces vitamin D when exposed to ultraviolet light, just like your skin does. But here's what makes this so valuable for seniors. Mushrooms produce vitamin D2, which for decades was considered inferior to the vitamin D3 found in animal sources. Recent research has completely overturned that assumption. A groundbreaking study from Boston University School of Medicine published in the journal Dermatoendocrinology found that vitamin D2 from UV-exposed mushrooms raised and maintained blood vitamin D levels just as effectively as vitamin D3 in adults over 60. But there was an additional finding that shocked the researchers. The mushroom-derived vitamin D came packaged with compounds called beta-glucans, which are powerful immune modulators. After the age of 65, your immune system undergoes a process called immunosenescence, where it becomes less effective at fighting infections and more prone to autoimmune reactivity. The beta-glucans in mushrooms specifically address this age-related immune decline. But there's something else happening at the cellular level that you need to understand. Mushrooms contain a compound called ergothioneine, which is one of the most powerful antioxidants found in nature. Your body cannot produce ergothioneine, you can only obtain it from diet, and mushrooms are the richest source. Research from Penn State University found that ergothioneine specifically protects your mitochondria, the power plants inside your cells, from age-related oxidative damage. After 70, your mitochondrial function declines by approximately 35 to 40%. The combination of vitamin D2 plus ergothioneine plus beta-glucans creates what researchers call a triple mechanism of cellular protection that no synthetic supplement can replicate. Dorothy, 78 years old from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, came to me with recurrent respiratory infections. She'd had pneumonia twice in 18 months, and her infectious disease specialist was concerned about her declining immune function. Her vitamin D levels were 23 nanograms per milliliter, despite taking 2,000 international units of vitamin D3 daily. We introduced UV-exposed mushrooms into her daily routine, specifically cremini and portobello mushrooms that had been placed gill side up in direct sunlight for 2 hours before consumption. Within 6 weeks, her vitamin D levels climbed to 41 nanograms per milliliter. More importantly, her white blood cell function markers showed dramatic improvement. Her immunologist specifically noted her enhanced NK cell activity and called her immune recovery exceptional. She's gone 14 months without a single respiratory infection. Here's your practical approach. 4 to 6 ounces of mushrooms daily, and this is critical. Either purchase mushrooms specifically labeled as UV treated, or expose fresh mushrooms yourself by placing them gill side up in direct sunlight for 90 minutes to 2 hours. This simple exposure increases their vitamin D content from nearly 0 to over 800 international units per serving. Cooking doesn't significantly reduce the vitamin D content, so sauté them with garlic and olive oil, add them to omelets with those pasture-raised eggs we discussed, incorporate them into soups and stews. Your synergy tip: consume mushrooms with a source of vitamin C like bell peppers or citrus, because vitamin C enhances the immune-modulating effects of the beta-glucans by up to 40% according to research from the Linus Pauling Institute at Oregon State University. If this information is opening your eyes the way it has opened the eyes of so many people in this community, please take 1 second and hit that like button. And if you are not yet subscribed, I invite you to join us. I publish evidence-based content specifically for people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond every single week, and it is completely free. Subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss a video. And now we arrive at number 2, the one I teased at the very beginning of this video. The single food that researchers at Stanford University found to deliver vitamin D at rates up to 50 times more bioavailable than standard supplements in adults over 70. We are talking about fermented cod liver oil. And before you think this sounds too difficult or unpleasant, stay with me, because what I'm about to explain will make you understand why this deserves such a high position on this list. After the age of 70, your digestive system undergoes profound changes. Your stomach produces 60% less hydrochloric acid. Your pancreas secretes 40% fewer digestive enzymes. Your intestinal villi, those tiny finger-like projections that absorb nutrients, become flattened and less efficient. This is why so many seniors take vitamin D supplements religiously, and their blood levels barely improve. They're not absorbing it through their compromised digestive systems. This is where fermented cod liver oil becomes genuinely transformational. The fermentation process pre-digests the oil, breaking down complex molecules into forms your aging digestive system can absorb with minimal effort. A study from Stanford University School of Medicine measured vitamin D absorption rates in adults aged 70 to 85, comparing synthetic vitamin D3 supplements, regular cod liver oil, and fermented cod liver oil. The fermented version showed absorption rates 47 to 53 times higher than synthetic supplements. Let me repeat that statistic because it's almost difficult to believe. 50 times more bioavailable. The researchers concluded that the fermentation creates a matrix of nutrients including naturally occurring vitamin A, vitamin D, omega-3 fatty acids, and vitamin K2 that work synergistically in ways that isolated supplements simply cannot replicate. But there's a deeper mechanism you need to understand. Fermented cod liver oil contains something called alkyl glycerols, which are specialized lipids that specifically support immune function in elderly adults. Research from the Karolinska Institute in Sweden found that alkyl glycerols increase white blood cell production and enhance the activity of macrophages, the immune cells that decline most dramatically with age. Your 75-year-old immune system is running at approximately 60% capacity compared to when you were 30. These alkyl glycerols help restore some of that lost immune vigor. Harold, a 73-year-old from Memphis, Tennessee, had been hospitalized 3 times with severe vitamin D deficiency despite taking prescription-strength vitamin D at 50,000 international units weekly. His endocrinologist was baffled. His malabsorption was so severe that even massive doses weren't raising his blood levels. We introduced 1 teaspoon of fermented cod liver oil daily, taken with his largest meal. Within 8 weeks, his vitamin D levels rose from 17 nanograms per milliliter to 52 nanograms per milliliter. His endocrinologist called it the most dramatic reversal he'd seen in 40 years of practice. Harold told me he felt warmth returning to his extremities, his chronic muscle weakness began resolving, and his mood improved dramatically. Here's your practical protocol: 1 teaspoon daily of high-quality fermented cod liver oil, and quality matters enormously here. Look for products that specifically state they use traditional fermentation methods rather than heat processing. Take it with your largest meal because the food fats will further enhance absorption. If the taste is challenging, mix it into a small amount of orange juice or take it immediately before eating something flavorful. Your synergy pairing. Consume your fermented cod liver oil in the evening because vitamin D plays a critical role in melatonin production and sleep quality. Research from the University of Tehran found that vitamin D supplementation taken in the evening improved sleep onset time by an average of 42 minutes and increased total sleep duration by 78 minutes in adults over 65. And now we arrive at number 1, the single most important thing every person over 60 needs to understand about food-based vitamin D. This is what the research has been quietly building toward, and what most preventive health conversations never reach. This is the one. We are talking about the critical importance of vitamin D cofactors, and specifically how your aging body requires a complete nutritional matrix to utilize vitamin D effectively. Here's what almost no one tells you. Vitamin D doesn't work alone. It requires magnesium to convert into its active form in your kidneys. It requires vitamin K2 to direct calcium into your bones rather than your arteries. It requires vitamin A to regulate the cellular receptors that allow vitamin D to enter your cells and activate protective genes. It requires zinc to help your immune cells respond to vitamin D signals. After the age of 65, your body becomes depleted in every single one of these cofactors. You're not just vitamin D deficient, you're cofactor deficient, and this is why isolated vitamin D supplements so often fail to produce the health improvements people expect. A landmark study from the European Journal of Nutrition following over 12,000 adults aged 60 to 85 for 9 years found something extraordinary. Participants with high vitamin D levels but low magnesium, vitamin K2, vitamin A, or zinc showed no reduction in fracture risk, cardiovascular disease, or cognitive decline compared to those with low vitamin D. But participants who consumed whole food sources providing vitamin D plus its cofactors and natural ratios showed a 61% reduction in age-related disease across all categories. The researchers concluded that the food matrix, the complete package of nutrients working together, is what produces genuine health transformation, not any single isolated nutrient. This is why every food I've discussed today is so powerful. Pasture-raised egg yolks provide vitamin D plus vitamin A plus choline. Wild-caught fatty fish provide vitamin D plus omega-3s plus selenium. UV-exposed mushrooms provide vitamin D plus ergothioneine plus beta-glucans. Fermented cod liver oil provides vitamin D plus vitamin A plus vitamin K2 plus alkyl glycerols. These foods don't just deliver vitamin D. They deliver the complete nutritional support system your aging body needs to process and utilize that vitamin D effectively. Eleanor, 82 years old from Portland, Oregon, came to me after a devastating fall that fractured her hip. Her bone density was critically low despite taking vitamin D and calcium supplements for 15 years. When we ran comprehensive micronutrient testing, she was deficient in magnesium, vitamin K2, and boron, all critical cofactors for bone health. We shifted her to a whole food protocol, incorporating the foods we've discussed today plus Brazil nuts for selenium, pumpkin seeds for zinc and magnesium, and natto for additional vitamin K2. Within 6 months, her bone density scan showed the first improvement her rheumatologist had seen in over a decade. At her follow-up visit, she walked into my office without assistance for the first time since her fracture. She was crying, but this time from joy. She told me she felt like her body was rebuilding itself from the inside out. The reason this sits at the top of this list is not because it does one thing exceptionally well. It is because the body of evidence surrounding whole food vitamin D sources encompasses virtually every mechanism of healthy aging simultaneously. Bone density, immune function, cardiovascular health, cognitive preservation, muscle strength, mood regulation, sleep quality. The research shows improvements across all these domains when you provide your aging body with food-based vitamin D in its complete nutritional context. These 5 strategies, pasture-raised egg yolks, wild-caught fatty fish, UV-exposed mushrooms, fermented cod liver oil, and the understanding that cofactors matter more than isolated nutrients, represent something extraordinary. They cost almost nothing compared to the supplement industry's products. They require no prescription. They have no side effects other than better health. And every single one of them has been studied by real researchers at real institutions whose references I have placed for you in the description below this video. I want to speak to you directly for a moment. If you are over 60 or 70, you may sometimes feel that the window for meaningful health change has closed, that the damage is done, the genetics are set, the trajectory is fixed. I want you to hear this clearly. The research says otherwise. It is never, and I mean never, too late to give your body better information through better food. Your bones can rebuild. Your immune system can recover. Your brain can protect itself. Your cardiovascular system can heal. Even at 75, even at 80, even at 85, your body retains a remarkable capacity to respond when you give it what it needs. You deserve to have this information. The goal is not just longer life. It is more vital life. More independent life, more mornings where you wake up feeling capable and strong and present for the people you love. Your independence is not just about mobility. It is your dignity. It is your ability to live in your own home, drive yourself to appointments, hold a real conversation with someone you love, remember the name of the person standing right in front of you. These things are not luxuries. They are your dignity, and these foods protect that dignity. If this video helped you today, please subscribe right now. It costs you nothing, and it means the world to this channel and to the community we're building here together. Share this video with someone you love, a spouse, a sibling, a friend who takes vitamin D supplements but hasn't seen improvement. You could be giving them a gift they don't even know they need. Leave me a comment right now. Which of these 5 strategies surprised you most? Was it the mushrooms? The fermented cod liver oil? Tell me, and tell me your age, because this conversation belongs to you, and I will be right here reading what you write. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. I'm Dr. William Lee, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care of yourself. It is never too late. You are worth it.